Hi, everyone. This is Aaron, and you are listening to Walnut Notes, the official podcast for the members and friends of FCBC Walnut. I'm here with Endora Pan, and she recently served at YSMP, our Youth Summer Missions Project. So, Endora, I wanted to ask you, why did you go on YSMP? How was your experience with YSMP? And what are your hopes and prayers now that you are back from YSMP?
Last year was my first YSMP experience, and it was pretty awesome. But before I go into further detail and talk about why I went on this trip this year, I want to explain a little bit further about what YSMP stands for and what it's about. YSMP stands for Youth Summer Missions Project. So every summer, many churches from across the United States come together on short-term missions. At YSMP, not only do you get the opportunity to work with brothers and sisters from your own church, but your church actually then partners together with other churches to form a team. As a team, you then partner up with the local Indian church to serve on missions together. And the reason for this is because we know that we're only going there for a short-term period of time. So for the rest of the year, when we're not there, it's really the local church that will be partnering and ministering to their neighbors and those around them who don't know Jesus. It's honestly such a beautiful snapshot of the body of Christ coming together regardless of culture, ethnicity, and race in order to proclaim the gospel to the nations. So going back to why I went this year, while most of the team members that went to YSMP last year were the Unicoi counselors and other adults, we anticipated and desired that our youth would join this year on this trip. It was our goal then as counselors to be able to go with the youth so that both youth students and counselors could be united to serve together. And since I had such a great experience last year, I wanted to share that experience with the youth students and have them get that experience as well. For me as a Unicoi counselor for our high school ministry, I want our youth to also have an opportunity to get out of their comfort zones and to get out of the FCBC Walnut bubble and to get to know other churches, especially the youth in the other churches. I thought it would be a neat way to end the school year by applying what we've learned through sermons all year round by going out and sharing the gospel together. I was stretched on this trip, both physically and emotionally, but overall, I felt blessed to serve with our youth and with the other two churches we partnered up with. We partnered up with a church in Kansas City and then another church from Phoenix, Arizona. I definitely had more responsibilities as an adult on our team this year. And this year, our church split into two YSMP teams so that we could be sent to two different areas. One team went to Whitecone, and then the other one went to Winslow. I was part of the Winslow team, and that consisted of mainly youth students and a couple of adults, including myself. Actually, I was the oldest female team member from Walnut. So then I took on the role of being the quote-unquote mom on the trip, and then took on more initiative in organizing the VBS and activities. I think it wasn't until we were on our way to Winslow that I really felt more of a burden of being responsible for the youth that went on the trip with us. I think it was a challenge for me because I was called to be the disciplinarian at times, such as telling the youth to go to sleep when it was getting really late and we were going to get up in 5 to 6 hours, or when there were learning opportunities and a rebuke was needed. Inwardly, I was frustrated at times when I needed to step in and say something because that's out of my comfort zone, or when things didn't go according to schedule and plan. Yeah, I think God was definitely stretching me in the areas of patience and love for my team members who were younger than me. And towards the end of the trip, when I lost my voice, I think it was perfectly timed because I had more opportunities to listen to those around me and observe ways to serve my team members. I think the biggest highlight for me, since I played more of a behind the scenes roles, was really seeing the youth change. And I think I was just so encouraged when I was talking to some of the youth, and it was near the end of the trip, and they shared with me that they didn't want to go home because they just love serving on this missions trip and getting to know the other youth and adults from the other churches. And they actually wanted to bring back the fellowship that they had on the Winslow team back to FCBC Walnut. And I just felt privileged to see them desire that fellowship and to desire that for our church. So we lived by this motto at YSMP, to be fat. And that motto stood for flexible/faithful, available, and teachable. Now that I'm back at work and back to just serving, this time I'm moving up to turf and being a counselor for my girls in turf, I want to practice fatness, to continue to be flexible and faithful in my job and in ministry, available and teachable in opportunities, whether that's talking to coworkers, talking to my small group girls, and just finding opportunity to share about what God is doing in my life and to proclaim the gospel. My prayer would be for myself to be intentional with those around me, and also for our youth to grow in leadership and in love for those around them, whether it's in Unicoi or Gap, the older generation, our neighbors outside our four walls. And my prayer would also be for the local church in Winslow, that next year, hopefully when we do get to go back, that there will be further growth, and that for those that we left behind in Winslow who need Christ, that they would come to believe in the hope that is found in Jesus.
Thanks, Endora, and thank you everyone for listening to our podcasts here at FCBC Walnut. Don't forget that you can get all of the episodes of Walnut Notes delivered via YouTube, Spotify, and your favorite podcast player. Just search for FCBC Walnut. And for more resources, visit our church website at fcbcwalnut.org. Thanks. See you soon.